Imagine a species arrives on Earth tomorrow. They have no concept of money, no history of kings or banks or Wall Street. They don't know what a mortgage is. They've never heard the phrase work hard and save. They land and they start watching. What do they see? They see billions of people performing coordinated rituals every day, waking up, traveling to designated buildings, executing repetitive tasks, then exchanging tokens for survival. They see a system where some humans accumulate more tokens in a single hour than others do in an entire lifetime, and everyone treats this as perfectly normal. But here's the thing about outsiders. They don't see what's normal, they see what's real. And that gap between what we've normalized and what's actually happening is where the most dangerous financial insights live. Let's think like they do for the next few minutes. Our alien observers wouldn't waste time asking who worked hardest. That's a human frame, and a deeply misleading one. Instead, they'd ask a more precise question. Who controls the choke points? In any complex system, value doesn't flow evenly. It pools, it accumulates at bottlenecks, at the narrow passages where everything else must pass through, and any sufficiently intelligent species would immediately identify where those bottlenecks are in our economy. They'd look at the internet, not a website, not an app, the infrastructure, the pipes. They'd ask, who controls what information travels, at what speed, to whom, and at what cost? They'd look at land, not in the romantic sense, in the coldest, most mathematical sense. They'd notice that a finite, non-reproducible resource sits beneath every human activity, every factory, every data center, every hospital. All of it rests on something that no one can make more of. They'd look at payment systems. They'd observe that nearly every transaction on the planet is taxed, not by governments, but by private networks that sit invisibly between buyers and sellers, collecting a fraction of everything that moves. And they would not find this complicated. They would find it obvious. The question isn't who works hard in this system. The question is who designed it and who profits from the design itself. So if an alien ship landed today and these observers decided to invest in human civilization, where would they put their resources? The first group they'd identify, the infrastructure class, not the companies you see, the ones underneath the ones you see, semiconductor manufacturers, fiber optic backbone providers, cloud computing platforms, satellite network operators. Our alien analysts would notice something peculiar, that almost every innovation in the visible economy runs on an invisible layer, and that invisible layer is controlled by fewer and fewer entities. They wouldn't care which app went viral this year. They'd want to own the rails the apps run on. This is a principle with ancient roots. During the California gold rush, the people who got rich weren't usually the miners. They were the ones selling pickaxes, denim pants, and whiskey. The lesson isn't about timing the trend, it's about identifying what every trend requires. The second group, those who have mastered asymmetric information. Our alien observers would immediately notice something strange about human financial markets. The price of an asset is, theoretically, known by everyone at the same moment, and yet some humans consistently make decisions before the information becomes public, not through crime necessarily, but through position, through networks, through being in rooms where patterns emerge before they crystallize into news. What would these aliens recommend? Learn to read second-order signals. The job posting of a company, the shipping data from a port, the search trends on a platform. The real edge in modern markets isn't secret information, it's the synthesis of publicly available information that most people are too distracted to connect. The third group would surprise most people: adaptable generalists. Here's where our alien analysis gets philosophically interesting. These observers would notice that human economic history follows a brutal pattern. Specialization creates wealth in stable periods, but destroys it during transitions. The horse carriage industry, the Kodak engineers, the blockbuster executives, all deeply competent, all perfectly adapted to a world that stopped existing. An alien intelligence studying 10,000 years of human economic shifts would have one clear recommendation: the highest value position is not the best specialist. It's the person who can translate between disciplines, who speaks technology and business, who understands psychology and data, who can move across domains while everyone else is frozen in their expertise. In a world that's restructuring faster than at any point in recorded history, the generalist with deep curiosity compounds differently than the specialist. And fourth, a group most humans walk past every day: resource holders. Not oil necessarily, not gold. Think more precisely. Think about what the next 100 years of technology actually needs: lithium, cobalt, rare earth elements, freshwater rights in regions facing desertification, agricultural land in areas with stable rainfall patterns. Our alien economists would be buying things that haven't been classified as investments yet, because they are not valuable yet, but the math of what's coming makes them inevitable. The aliens would call this elementary. We call it too early. Often, those are the same thing. But here's the deeper insight, the one that doesn't fit on a list. Our alien observers wouldn't just identify assets. They'd identify cognitive failures, the systematic errors that keep most humans operating with a distorted map of economic reality. They would notice that humans consistently overvalue proximity, that people invest in companies they've heard of, in industries they already understand, in assets that feel familiar. They'd find it puzzling that comfort, the mere feeling of safety, is more influential than actual risk-adjusted return. They'd notice that humans have an extraordinary tendency to look at the past when estimating the future, particularly in periods of structural discontinuity, which is precisely when the past is least predictive. They'd find it strange that the maps people used to navigate a changing economy were almost always drawn before the change began. And they'd notice something even more fundamental: that most humans conflate activity with progress. Busyness has become a proxy for value creation, and the economic system, unintentionally, rewards the performance of effort more than it rewards the results of thinking. Our alien investors would be fascinated by this, because it means that the simple act of slowing down to think clearly is one of the rarest and most valuable behaviors in the system. Charlie Munger called it sitting quietly in a room. The aliens would just call it rational. Here's what I want you to take away from this. You don't need a spaceship to adopt the outsider's view. You just need a commitment to questioning the things everyone around you has accepted without examination. The wealthiest investors in the world, the ones who've built multi-generational fortunes, share one underrated habit. They periodically ask themselves, if I had no prior knowledge of this industry, no emotional attachment, no sunk cost, what would I see? That's the alien question, and the answers tend to be uncomfortable. They reveal that we're paying attention to the wrong metrics, that the safe choice is often the one with the highest long-term risk, that the assets everyone is chasing are priced for a future that's already visible and therefore already sold. The real opportunity, almost always, is in the space between what's already understood and what's about to become obvious. That gap, the space between early and proven, is where wealth has always been made. The aliens would see it immediately. The question is whether you're willing to look. If this changed how you think about opportunity, subscribe, because we're just getting started.